on. Okay, Victor. Landing rocket arm switch is on. Here comes the throttle. Cover brake release. We have separation. Inboard and outboard, they're on.
All right, we got Roger here, and we are about to tear into stitch from fixing our wheelie.
Our moon tune.
Yeah, so we got to get the motor plate off of it and reseal the water pump seal up over to, I think it's leaking between the motor plate and the block.
Yeah.
So blower and everything's probably got to come off. We'll find
Such
out
an
here in a minute.
unfortunate design.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, we just got to muscle through it now.
All right, so we're going to get started, and we'll be right back. You're already bleeding.
Didn't even miss a beat. Can't put it back together now.
So we got it pulled apart, and the outcome is the motor plate cracked where the let's go over there.
Half gasket right there in it.
Yep.
Yep.
Man, it took some abuse, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to take that to the shop and weld it up.
Really good crack right there.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
Coming up next on
Nitro Dave.
I have lost the boat. Where'd the boat go? Well, we are back to assembly, and today I am the Lone Ranger. Could not convince any of my friends to come help. And Lisa has decided that with family pictures tomorrow, she wants to use Stitch as a backdrop. So I'm forced to come out here and put it together. So let me show you what we got here. If you remember earlier, we were cracked here. So fab department took and welded it back up, cleaned it up. And what's terrible about this design, if you look at right here's your mount where it's bolting to the chassis on both sides. What's happening here is it's putting all the stress here, pulling on the bottom of these water pump bolts because it's trying to bend this out. These holes here, this one here goes to nothing. This one goes to the other side of the block. So you got a little bit more support on this side than you do this side, but the block itself does not have anything over there. So it's kind of a crappy design, really. Whenever you really look at it, it's putting all the stress right here and it's trying to bring it up this way. That's what happened there. It cracked the motor plate, caused the water pump to leak, and our day was over at the track. I'm gonna clean it up, clean some gaskets real quick, and then we're gonna put it back together. Now there's probably a better way of doing this motor plate because I have stood the orange juice up several times and slammed it down, and I've never had this problem. We sure had the problem this time. What I would like to do is come back and revisit this later. I just don't have time today. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this together. Now what we need to do is we need to go get some successful passes underneath our belt. And the goal is to make a solid pass on this first kit, which is just a 100 shot, and then turn the second kit on and get a solid pass underneath that. Now, you know, when we were no prepping this thing, I never really needed the wheelie sensor, and I never set it up, and that came back to bite us the other day. which is silly because it's on the truck and there's no reason for it not to be set up other than just not taking time to do it. So before we go back to the truck next weekend, I'm gonna go over everything and get it all set up correctly. You know, one thing for sure is as fast as this thing came up, we weren't even anywhere close to where it needed to be anyways. Water pump here, clean it too.
You make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
These gaskets up at O'Reilly's, they had a 2-pack and a single pack. They only had one 2-pack, and then the singles were quite a bit more. Well, they did good. Hole lines up. All right. Should line up pretty easy then. This ugly side right here is that side. Man, this motor plate's ugly. It's nasty. All right, so we're gonna put the motor plate on first. No, I think I'll put, so I'm gonna put silicone on this. Now, these have the embedded O-rings and you really don't need to, but that motor plate flexes so much because of the design. When I first built this truck, we had a problem with that sealing up, so we started putting a little silicone on it, and that helped. So I'm gonna do that again. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the other day when Roger and I were working on this and I made a comment about I use silicone, and he said, see, I was thinking about whenever we originally built the truck, but whenever we put the motor in the truck here recently, Roger was the one that put all this together because he said, you didn't do that, I did that. But then it was either before he said that or after he made a comment about somebody else that was helping him work on it, leaving everything loose. Our water pump bolts were loose. So who's to blame? Kind of set himself up on that one, didn't he? I have lost the bolt. Where'd the bolt go? Get on there. All right, let's go back up. This photographer's going to show up tomorrow. I think we done lost our minds. All right, I recruited some help from Ty, which is my son. Say hi, Ty.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, guys. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Got all that mess on. Let's look and see if we got it lined up right. Okay. Let's see. Looks like it's on there. Well, while we got that up there, we might as well feed the blower belt up. Put our solenoid cans back on. I actually have a solenoid wrench for doing this, but this was laying right there, so. Now whenever you tighten these solenoid nuts up, you don't have to like really crank down on it. You actually crack the coil if you put too much on it. You want to just snug it. Before I take this thing off the lift, I am going to go ahead and tighten the shocks up, tighten the travel limiters back up, because it's easier to do when it's on the lift. All right, let's see. All right, let's go back down again. See if we can get this blower belt on without having to go recruit help. It'd been a lot easier to do this if I did it before we put the belts on. There we go. All right, let's give everything a once over. It'll be ready to go. Now the bad thing about putting water in this thing is I had to pull a vacuum on it. To put water in it because it always vapor locks. So I'm gonna do this. I'm going to fire it up real quick. Make sure the belts are lined up and everything's good. Stitch is live. I'll get some water in here. We'll be ready to clean it up for pictures.